Hello, welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. I have a scrapbook layout for you today. Now, I have the Christmas story collection on my desk. I've already created some projects with this, so I don't have the whole paper pack here. I have a couple full sheets. I did get the workshop option, which has more than if you were to just get the paper pack and sticker sheet. So I am working with that. These were extra papers or bonus papers as well as this one. So I will go ahead and clear these off my desk and bring in my Versamat. This one's going to be a single page, so we just need one. And I know I want to use this pattern paper for my base. I also have some strips here. These are scallop border pieces and they were assigned to project 1, which let me grab the workshop and I'll show you. So this is the full color workshop guide and this is project 1, so you can see where they've used those scallop borders on the side. I'm switching it up and using those pieces for something totally different. If you didn't catch it, I created this layout here and I'll leave that linked in the description box below. I switched it up just a bit to work for my photos, but I love the way it turned out. I like to use just a couple removable glue dots, one in opposing corners, and then that way my paper's not going to slide around, because when I skip this step, I end up, moving my paper, lining it up every time I want to line up a piece of paper. So if you just take a moment to do that, it'll stay in place perfectly. I have a couple photos. This is my mom and I. We were Christmas shopping and we stopped for a coffee break. It was getting late. It was cold. It was raining and we definitely needed a coffee. So this was just a fun little memory for me. You'll notice there's a lot of warm wood tones, the fun coffee cups, and of course my mom's red jacket, and I'm wearing black. So I definitely want to bring in those colors to complement my photos. So that's why I wanted to use these, and then the black and reds in here is perfect. I thought it would be really fun to incorporate the to-go cups. Now I cut this down. Let me show you in the catalog because it's a little hard to make sense of it like this. In the October through December 2022 catalog on page 47, you can see these cups. They've created a couple examples here. So there's all the thin cuts. You get the cup, a little Java jacket, a couple different types of Java jackets. You could put a regular lid on it or like a Frappuccino type lid. There's a straw, a little circle for the sentiment, which pairs perfectly with this stamp set here, and I'll be using both of these on today's layout. In fact, I have one I created. Let me show that to you. So this would be so fun. It's a card size. It's just like it'll fit in an A2 size card envelope, and this flips up and then you can open the card. So you could put a gift card in here, or you could write just your sentiment in there, really anything. But how fun would this be for the coffee lovers or even hot chocolate lovers, and just put a fun gift card to Starbucks or your local coffee shop in there. And I just think that's so fun. And there's the coordinating stamp set. So Santa fuel, but there were other sentiments as well. You can see there's sip, sip, hooray, a drink, it's on me today, and then wishing you a whole latte, happy holidays. So different things you can do. There's merry and bright. And then I used gold stars from the sticker sheet, but you could stamp the little stars there to get that same look. And I just think it is so cute. So this came on a big sheet and I cut it in half and put it back to back so it would fit in my envelopes here, because this works better with my current die storage. I do have a magnet wall, but then all the other dies that I'm not using all the time will go like this. So just cutting that in half, storing it back to back, and it definitely makes it a little bit more manageable for my space. I just thought this was so fun. You know what else you could do is you could make this like an interactive element and use it for journaling or something like that. So fun. So I'm going to go trim this paper down. What I'm envisioning, this is a 4x4 photo and this is a 3x4. So I thought I would just kind of do a center layout, and that's going to allow that coffee cup to fit in perfectly. So we will go and tuck this here, tuck this one in here, and then I'm thinking these will go like this. I'm actually going to make another coffee cup. This one I'm going to use for a card because I just need the front of it, right? I don't need all this opening, but this will give me an idea if it's going to work, and that's going to work perfectly. So I might angle this a little bit because that'll be a fun look. Yeah, I like it. Having the Versamat just helps me get that lined up because I can see I'm pretty much dead centered. This is a 6-inch piece, so if I line it up with the 9 and the 3, I know that is the center of my layout. I also have these zip strips or the branding strips from the pattern paper, and I thought that that would look fun, bordering the top and bottom, just finishing off that transition. I'll go ahead and get these all adhered off camera. From the coordinating sticker sheet, I brought in these poinsettias, and I definitely plan on using those. They're small, medium, and large, and each one has a set of leaves. And I love the gold foiling in the center there. I think that's a really beautiful touch. So I'll just set these aside. I did remove the adhesive with my anti-static powder tool. I also have a bunch of leftover die cut sprigs. These are from the Christmas Story card making workshop, and I love mason jars, but I bought this mainly for these dies. I just think they're so pretty, and you'll see how now a few of these, this one here and this one, are from the Christmas Story coordinating embellishments, but the rest are my die cuts. You can see how those are very similar. These are the coordinating embellishments. You can see there's titles, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and those are acrylic. And then just fun different shapes that are paperboard. There's those little pine boughs. There's some glitter paper ornaments and some dates, 24 and 25. There's another couple different 25s, so you have options. But lots of tags and word sentiments. So these are really fun to add to your Christmas collection. I'm going to go ahead and get all the pieces cut out for my to-go thin cut cups here. So we'll do the scarlet red for the cup, and then this piece I'm going to use the plaid pattern paper, and then the lid and the circle for the sentiment. Whoops. See, here's another little Java jacket you can fold around it, kind of like a belly band. So we have the lid and the circle that will go on this piece of white paper. So I'll go ahead and get all these die cut out, and I'll be right back. So we have all of our die cut pieces. Let me just set these down, and we'll go ahead, and there are score lines. So when you run this through, it scores it for you. Fold it in half and then fold this piece down, and that is the part that allows it to open. And then what you want to do is use a strong tape. I recommend this red line tape. It's a double-sided adhesive tape, and then you can adhere the lid to the top. Now we're going to add a little character to the lid. You can see that it's plain white, and this one looks a little different. It looks like there's some depth and dimension. So that is super easy to do. Let me just move these to the side here, and I can show you how I did that. I have just a piece of scratch paper and a soft blending brush, and I'm using the color Mink to add my shading to this cup. So I have another piece of just inexpensive printer paper, and I'm lining it up. Now you want this to be kind of a rounded shape, so I'm going to move this to obtain that because we have a straight edge here. So I'm just very softly starting on the scratch paper here and then blending up. And I like the blending brush because it does allow you to get this very soft look. See how simple that is? And it makes such a big difference. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more to the outside edges of the cup. So once you have your definitive line there where you would have it naturally on the actual physical cup lid, we can go ahead and just darken up the edges. As I mentioned earlier, I don't need this piece to open up, so I will adhere it closed. But before I do that, I'm going to sand the edges. Close to my heart cardstock has a white core, and this is really fun for doing some distressing techniques, just like you see me doing here with this little nail file. I'll go ahead and just apply some adhesive to the inner portion, close that up, and then we are going to glue the lid on right about like so. And then I can go ahead and decorate the rest of the pieces. Now this one I have the black underneath. I'm not sure. We have a lot of black in the background, so I might skip that on this cup. While I'm thinking about it, I'll go ahead and stamp my sentiment onto my little circle here. And I'm going to repeat the same that says Santa Fuel because I thought, you know, that's kind of appropriate. We were out there Christmas shopping and we definitely needed to refuel. I'm using Scarlet ink because it matches my cardstock, and then I'm going to stamp Santa in the center in black. So we'll go ahead and make sure that's nice and inky, and then press down. I have the foam underneath. That's going to help me get a nice impression. And then that looks pretty good. So now we can grab the Santa. You can see him there. I already have him mounted on my block. And for Santa, I'm going to use Intense Black because I am going to add just a little bit of color with my Spectrum Noir markers. So I want to use an alcohol-friendly ink. So right in the center. And then let me get this out of the way. I have my little ink blending tool here, and it's got black ink already in the foam. So I'm just going to go quickly around the edge of my circle and then add a couple more gold stars from the coordinating sticker sheet. And as I mentioned earlier, this stamp set does have a star stamp, so you could ink that up and stamp it if you didn't have the stickers. For my marker colors, I've selected the dark red blend. I have fair skin and brown gray. So this is a small image. I'm not getting, crazy with the shading. I'm just using either the medium or the lightest shade. And I like these bullet tips because they do allow you to get into the fine little areas. And for his beard, I'm using the brown gray and just kind of touching up a few areas where there might be some shadowing. And that just makes it look more dimensional and realistic than just white. I think this cute little coffee cup has so much potential. I'm using it on a scrapbook layout, but it'd be a great gift card holder. But switch up the papers and you could make it birthday themed or just like a thank you gift, or maybe your child's teacher or a coworker. I just think it has, it's so fun and you can really customize it to suit the recipient. So we'll nestle this right under the photo here, and then we can start embellishing. So I have all of these beautiful little sprigs and poinsettias. I'm thinking I want these offset. Do I want the larger up top? No, I think the larger is better balanced down below. And then I can just add more to this embellishment cluster up here. We'll put the second poinsettia and then just tuck these smaller leaves and then some of these greenery sprigs. So it's fun having all these bits and pieces to just kind of work into your embellishment cluster. So we'll get that guy under there, maybe one up top here. I feel like floral embellishment clusters are one of the easier to get comfortable with and practice your layering skills. They just go together naturally and have a nice organic shape that helps soften all those hard lines. Now, I do want to add a little layering to the photo all the way on the right. So these are the 3x4 pocket cards. That's not quite right. I'm just kind of auditioning them, and this one I think is the best. So see how that makes just a big difference with that subtle layer under there? I also have this sticker from my stash. It's a piece of chipboard. I believe it's from Echo Park, and it says it's always coffee time, and I love that it's in black. It just goes with the layout perfectly. These are a few toffee sprigs, so I'm just going to tuck them in here and there, and I still need to add my title. So let me set those aside and we'll work on that. I'm thinking I want to use this set for my title. So it says Merry Christmas. I'll show it to you in the catalog because it's a little bit easier to see. Same page as the Santa Fuel and to-go cups, but you can see they have it on a slimline card here. So it's two thin cuts, and one piece cuts the inside and the other cuts the outside, and you can add Merry or pair it with something else. So I'm thinking I want it to say Christmas cheer. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. Here, let me grab some cardstock. I have white daisy for my outline and then scarlet for the inner portion of the word Christmas. So I'll go ahead and get those cut out, and then I will do a couple layers. I already adhered those together of the word Christmas and scarlet, and then this actually pops out pretty well. So just tap it and then you can pop your letters out because we're just using the outside portion. So I didn't put a shim. Sometimes if you just put an extra piece of cardstock or something in there, these will fall right out and you won't have to fuss much with it. You do want to save the inner portion of the R and the A because we'll need those to finish off our title. Just to make it easier, I'm going to lay down my all-purpose mat. That way, if I get any glue on my work surface, it'll just wipe right up. So this is the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, and I really like it for small applications like this. Now, I always think about it after the fact, but they have the double-sided adhesive sheets that you can die cut, so it'll be like a sticker, and I definitely recommend those as well. The liquid glue is nice because you can line it up perfectly, so it's a little bit easier to work with, but it can be tricky to get glue on these tinier pieces. So you can see where we need to add the inner portion of the A. And this is my pickup tool. It's a wax pencil and it's great for helping with tiny little pieces like this. And then the inside of the R. And that just finishes that off nicely. This is going to work perfectly underneath my photos, just anchoring them there. And for the second part of my title, I have some foam black letters from my stash. These are very old. I don't even know what brand they are, but I have them on some wax paper so I can move them around. And I do think that I might want to bump this title down just a bit. And then this can go right, maybe right there. So I'm going to bring in my T-square ruler to adhere these. It's super helpful for getting your letters straight. And this one is 14 inches, so it goes all the way across and then some. There's even like little stitching guide holes in this ruler. It's super handy. I do want to add a little bling, so I dug through my stash and found these gold glitter gems. There are glitter gems currently available. They're a little bit smaller than these, but we have gold in the poinsettias and gold in the stars on our coffee cups, so I thought these would be a good fit. So I'm putting them in each embellishment cluster. And then for my journaling, I am actually going to write right on the layout. I know, crazy. I almost always type it, but I have my black journaling pen. I did use my T-square ruler to draw some lines with pencil, and there isn't a big story here. I'm just kind of explaining how we were taking a much needed coffee break while Christmas shopping, and I was with my mom. And then, of course, I always like to put the year, so I'm just December of 2021. It is always good to include your handwriting in your albums, so I have to make it a point to do that every once in a while because, like I said, usually I will type it. I did go ahead and erase the pencil lines after I finished my journaling, and I'm going to call this layout done. How fun is that coffee cup? Everything I used for today's project can be found listed in the description box below. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you gave me a big thumbs up. It's a free way to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.